What's up? Hey guys, it's good to see you. It's Ryan here at DP Marketing.Services, an author on the book on digital marketing for plumbing and HVAC contractors. Hope you're doing well, staying safe. It's good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Coming at you the video today was something with a lot of guys. I know you talk about it. We're in the same Facebook groups, a lot of you. And so I want to talk through, here's the question, should you do all the marketing yourself? Should you bring it in-house? Should you hire an agency? Should you piecemeal out your marketing to different agencies? And so, I know a lot of you guys have asked this and experimented with different things. So I figured I'd just chime in. Obviously, full disclosure, we obviously are a digital agency who specialize in plumbing and HVAC shops. Our kind of bread and butter is web, SEO, PPC, social, reputation, basically the digital things that customers are using when they find you. But that's kind of our alley. But the question still stands. Should you put all of your eggs in one basket? Should you try to bring stuff in-house where you can? Should you diversify and have several people doing different things? So as with most things, I would say that there's not a real clear, this is the right way, this is the wrong way. I think it depends on your goals, the size of your business, what you're trying to accomplish, what resources you have at your disposal. So for instance, website is let's not even do a website. Let's just do logo design. Logo design, in my honest to goodness opinion, is its own art. It is something that is not something that anyone who has graphic design skills knows how to do. It is not one of those things worth going on some cheap website and farming it out to 30 people in India and having them send stuff back. A great logo is it's very hard. There's a lot of skill involved. And you should absolutely hire someone who has that skill set, unless you want a crappy looking logo, in which case doesn't matter. But if you want a great logo that looks like a multi-million-dollar business, then you've got to hire someone who does great logos. It's that simple. I can't really recommend, like if somebody calls us and asks us to do logo design, it's really hard to make the argument like, hey, we're not staffed that way. That's not our logo sucks. We're not staffed to do great logo design. So I can't possibly recommend hiring a digital marketing agency to do logo design. That's just not how they're staffed. That's not their skills. That's not their strengths. Hire someone that does that. You could possibly have that one leprechaun person in-house that can do that. Like maybe your niece is a graphic design major in college. I don't know. But it's really hard. Don't think because you know how to do CAD or because you know how to do some sort of drawings that you can do logo design, because it's not like that. It's not. Websites are simple, right? There's a whole lot of do-it-yourself website builders out there, and I'm not knocking them because for the price, they give you a whole lot of functionality for the average person. So instead of hiring someone to build a website for $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, you could do it yourself. And use something like Wix or Weebly or Squarespace or whatever. Those are all fine tools. They all have technical trade-offs, right? By doing something like that, you don't technically have the ability to do other things that you would otherwise be able to do. But similar to logo design, if you don't know anything about coding and web, if you're doing it yourself, you're going to be the weakest link. Not necessarily the tool. The tool might be, but if that's not your strength, if that's not your skill, if that's not your training, you're going to struggle. And it's the same way, guys. If you were to go to someone's house and they tried to DIY their own air conditioner, you know the crap that you're walking into. It's going to be a mess. If they DIY their own plumbing problem, for a clogged drain, whatever, you know the mess that these guys create when they DIY it. It's the same thing if you DIY your own marketing, right? Those things happen. Now, that said, it's sometimes just cheaper and better. You get what you pay for if you hire people who are good at what they do and let them do it, right? If people are good at SEO, let them do the SEO. Because for the most part, it's cheaper for you to hire a really good agency who specializes in really good SEO than it is for you to hire someone in-house and pay for them. It typically is going to be more expensive. And that's assuming that person only does SEO. Now, hear me, if you have $100,000 a year budget just for staff on SEO, totally knock yourself out. Like totally cool. Great. Go for it. But if you don't have that sort of budget, it's really hard to dip your toe in for 25, 35 grand a year and hire someone in-house to do things like SEO for you. You might be the diamond in the rough, but it's really hard. Now, so the question then is, what about hiring different agencies to do different things? Should you let your SEO company do PPC and vice versa, or should you diversify? Honestly, that's a really great question. There's pros and cons on both. Some SEO companies are fantastic at SEO, and they like at PPC, they're okay. Some companies are exceptional at PPC, but at SEO, they kind of suck. Some companies kind of suck at both. They're really good at web design, but once they sell you the website, you're stuck doing the other stuff. So it can work where you diversify, but also there's benefits. Like for us, if we're only doing SEO, which is fine, we're happy to do that. There's other issues where with AdWords, if we can get access to the AdWords data, we will get more detailed insights faster just because of the nature of the clicks. We'll actually be able to see the search history, what's coming in, what devices, and we can optimize SEO strategies based on AdWords data. Hear me, AdWords and SEO don't directly benefit each other. If you pay more in ads, it doesn't help Google rank you faster. However, it does provide you more data, which you can analyze to help your SEO. So those things are helpful to cross-pollinate. It doesn't mean that you have to have the same company manage both, but having that data available where people can know what's converting, what terms are going to be the highest ROI words for you or the lowest cost of acquisition for you. For a company like us to be able to know those sort of terms that are actively happening in real time, we can pivot and adapt things better to make sure that we're synchronizing all the forces. And I think at the end of the day, that's really the goal, right? It doesn't matter if it's in-house or if it's outsourced or if it's a combination of outsourced or it's a combination of in-house and outsourced. The real thing is you just got to communicate. If you're, as a company, hoarding certain metrics and certain KPIs so that nobody else can use those as benchmarks, it's going to be really hard for somebody else like us, for instance, to come in and go, well, how much money do you make on that job? We can't tell. You've got to be able to be open-handed to say, hey, this is a really high profit customer for us. We need more of those. When we have that sort of data, we can target that down and figure out what made that so successful and look for more. But we have to have that information to deal with. So if you're not open-handed with the KPIs that are important to you and the goals that you're using and the things that are helping measure your own internal standards of success, if you're not open-handed with sharing that with the other people who are supposed to be involved with your business, it's going to be really hard for them to succeed. Like full stop. It's just going to be really hard. At the same time, if you have two other agencies, for instance, one's doing PPC and one's doing SEO, and they're not talking, it's also going to be very hard. Everyone needs to be able to communicate. We're all working on your goals and helping your business. And if somebody's going to be very territorial, very secretive, very locked down, it's going to be really hard to cross-pollinate expertise to make sure that you get the most for your money. It doesn't mean that it's impossible to co-partner. Like it can be perfectly fine. On the other hand, like I've heard people make arguments that if somebody has earned your trust, if they've done well with SEO, then why not trust them with PPC? And that's fair, right? And then if they lose your trust on PPC, then go back to SEO and hire someone else to do PPC. Totally fair. But just be mindful. It's important that everyone collaborates, everyone works together, all those metrics are known, and everyone's working to the same goal. Have regular meetings, have monthly meetings with all of your marketing partners at the same time so that they can all share their struggles, their wins, the things they're looking to accomplish, and see how they can help each other. If you're trying to do all this yourself, unless being your director of marketing is your full-time job in your business, which I'm hoping to all things good, it's not, because that's not probably why you're watching this video. It is good to make sure that you're synchronizing all those forces. So I would like to hear from you. Are you insourcing? Are you outsourcing? Are you spreading out all the eggs in all the baskets? Like, what is your approach that you're doing? How's it working for you? How do you hold those pieces accountable? How do you get them all to coordinate? Would like to hear from your story. So if you would, leave a comment. I'd like to hear from it. As always, guys, follow us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. It's good to see you. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.